what we like to refer to as Happy Friday Junior. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop on real quick because I do need to get on with my day. But I had so many questions yesterday about the whole condoning the victim mentality. Okay, and someone said, "What if you've been doing that and you want to change it?" So, really quickly, like I said yesterday, you know, as parents, when someone gives you, a bad report, say like you struggled in school with something, and now you're starting to see some of those same struggles in your child. And maybe you even get them diagnosed, and maybe they do have ADHD or something like that. We just have to change our mindset. We have to teach our children that, God is not confused. He knew what he was doing when he made you. And honestly, it's a superpower. I told one of my students yesterday, he even said to me, Mrs. Kirby, I have the hardest time because I have ADD. And I said, okay, why, what's hard? I just can't pay attention. Pay attention how? Well, I don't like to sit in my chair for a long time. Okay, well, no, nobody does. We find out different strategies. So I have one of those kids balancing boards that I bought for the boys for Christmas. Well, for all my grandkids, really, because they've all played with it. But those are excellent for those bodily kinesthetic ADD kiddos, and they don't disrupt your class if you have multiple kids. Stick it under their desk, let them put their feet on it, and let them balance their feet back and forth. Or if you have another kid that's a super fidgeter, just go get some tennis balls. Give them 2 tennis balls and tell them they have to keep them under their feet for the whole period. And they will be able to focus on what you're saying and what you're trying to teach them. Or even at home, parents, when you're trying to get them to really focus in on what you're doing, give them something to hold in their hand. I know a lot of parents hated those fidget spinners, but schools have made them work. Well, some schools. I have all these activities that they turn the spinner on, put it down, and they try to beat the spinner, like try to do those math problems before the spinner stops. So, little tricks like that, it's not a lot. Okay, so for today, we're moving on. I do want to encourage you about our 10 to win because we are still looking at the sunrise of a new year. And I know for a lot of you, I've struggled with bringing the crap in from last year. I really have. I don't want old habits, old mindsets, old fears, uh, um, worries about things I have no control over. Those things, yeah. And it really takes renewing the mind, and some days it's renewing it moment by moment. I did want to update you really quick about my mom. She should be being released any day. This is my dilemma, and I know a lot of you pray for me, and so I really appreciate that. And I try to give you updates as I can. She's completely cleared. The COVID is over and done with. She's doing well. I had a really good conversation with her. Um, a lot less scared and forgetful. So I feel like she's coming back into herself. The challenge is now is that she has to qualify if she's going to move into one of these nice assisted living places. And it has a lot to do with the level of care. What I'm frustrated with, you guys, and I'm just going to share this with my community, people I know love me, love my mom, and are praying for all of us. Every single thing that your loved one needs help with money gets added on. Okay, so because my mom takes medication, and we've handled either myself or when Ripley worked for her, um, you know, storing the meds, giving her the meds at the right time. She takes them herself. Um, as she's gotten a little bit older and sometimes forgetful because she's always trying to do some other little project. I get that from her. And she says, I'll do it later. And then she'll forget. So we do have to stand there and make sure that she takes some, but it's not a big deal. $775 a month just for someone to handle prescriptions. And it's not a trained, and I shouldn't say trained, it's not a certified like nursing assistant. Because I asked, I said, okay, and then like showering, if she needs help showering, which she walks with a walker. So she's going to need some help, to transfer from holding onto the walker. Even in a situation like in these places, I've looked at 3 now, and they all have just the walk-in type. And when she lived in assisted living before, she was in a wheelchair. She got to where she was pushing her wheelchair like a walker. But she was supposed to, for any like long trek, she was supposed to have someone push her in a wheelchair. Well, in assisted living, there wasn't anyone to push her, right? So that's my dilemma. We're looking at $4,000 or more per month, which takes all of her earnings and some, to have strangers take care of her. And I was asking, like, what is the certification? And that only includes 2 showers a week. It's not showering whenever she wants. And part of it is just more strangers in her life taking away more of her privacy. And honestly, I'm to the point where I would rather pay someone to be here while I'm working, to be with her, make her breakfast and lunch, have physical therapy come into my home, have occupational therapy come into my home once or twice a week, and I will help her with showering on the weekends and in the evenings because she prefers to bathe at night. And if there's nobody working at night, she doesn't get to. I don't know. That's my dilemma. But I'm also not going to pay an unlicensed person more than I'm making working. It's just a dilemma. Pray for me. Okay, let me move on really quickly because I do need to go. And we have been talking about what mentally strong parents do versus don't do. And this morning, we're talking out of parenting from a place of guilt. I have been guilty of that, and I can give you guys just a little quick rundown. Like, I have trouble saying no to my child because I feel guilty when I do. Or I beat myself up for not being a good parent, or if I lose my cool, or if I'm crying in the pantry or what have you, and then I feel guilty. Or maybe you're one of those people that you're out at the park or you're out and about and you see other parents and you think, oh my God, I can't. They're either amazing, or you can think to yourself, I'm not that bad. Do you feel guilty over things that you have no control over when it comes to your child? We so often as parents try to live out the things that maybe we didn't do as children or that were hard for us as kids. And I've shared that before with my food struggles and how I didn't want to pass on my struggle with food onto my girls. So, strong-minded parents, we don't parent from a place of guilt, right? We just don't. The guilt, it does nothing. It doesn't do anything for your child, and it doesn't do anything for you. And we don't want to parent from a place of guilt, especially if you've been like parenting from a place of guilt. We got to work on that and stop it today, because trust me, you do not want to get to that place when your kids are teenagers. You don't want them to be able to, just work you like a fiddle, so to speak. So if parenting from a place of guilt is, and maybe you have those tenacious ones that just will wear you down and you're like, okay, And so there are times when, there might be some guilt, and there's nothing wrong with saying if you've made a mistake to your student or to your kiddo or to your grandchild, and to say, "Oops, Gigi made a mistake." And I say this to my students too, like when I'll have them give me an answer and I either didn't wait or what have you, and I'll write it down. I'll write something wrong and they'll be like, "Oh, Mrs. Kirby, that's wrong." And I say, "I'm human. Teachers make mistakes. That's why you got to check me too." So, probably the number one place where the parenting from guilt comes from is a lack of self forgiveness. You got to be able to forgive yourself, friends. Practice that every day. We're human. We make mistakes. We're not supposed to be perfect. We're not even supposed to be striving for perfectionism, right? And so, some days might just look like I don't even know. Like the other day I came home from work and my son had gotten the boys from their mom and it was 4:30 in the afternoon and they were still in jammies. And I said, "What happened?" And they were so tired when they came home and they played and he just kept them in jammies. That happens some days, and don't make yourself feel bad about it. If that's not a big deal and they weren't going anywhere, I personally would not make that a habit. um, just because I'm that get up, get your day started kind of a person. So, just be thinking about that as you go into your day. Um, just because we're talking about these 13 things that mentally strong parents don't do. And I told you yesterday, it's required reading for our staff. So I figured I might as well share it with you. It was nice to see that most of these I've overcome. Anyway, I want you guys to have a great day. I do have to get on the road and get out of here. Um, I did want to say hi to Mariana, to Angela, to people that I'm seeing pop on, and hi to everyone on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for being here and mainly helping me stay calm and cool and collected during this time. And I know God has a plan for my mom. So I'm doing my best not to worry about the things that I can't control. And I know things will fall into place as I continue to do my part because, faith is action. So I've been just checking out places in town and I've even called services to see what it would cost to have someone come in that's a trained person. If I'm going to pay that kind of price, I want someone that knows what to do in an emergency, if there is one, if that's the way we go. So there I am. All right, I'm going to just go now. And I am reminding you all to lead with kindness today. Take a moment for yourself, practice that self forgiveness, start your day with intention and gratitude. Remember what we're thankful for. Look for those little things that are just priceless. All right. I love you guys all so much. Have a great day. Be kind and don't run with scissors. Okay. Bye, friends. Good morning, Facebook. Happy Thursday, or what we like to read.